JWF Monday Night Ignition. I'm your host, Silver Spoon, joined by a man who is staring at the horizon of war. It's Captain Tibbs.
Oh, Sills, I'm already looking way past that. What do you think about the changes to the JXT stage I've got drawn up on this napkin?
I'm sorry, Tibbs. That's not just like the stain of like mustard and ketchup, and was that blueberry sauce on there?
Yeah, I didn't have a pen. Don't have pens back here for some reason. Had to use the stuff from catering.
All right, well, it's very colorful, I will say, Tibbs, but that is an interesting point you bring up because we are, of course, at war with our developmental system, JXT, who claim that they deserve equal respect, that claim that they can put on just as, if not a more entertaining show than the JWF has. And I'll be honest with you, Tibbs, given how the last few weeks at JWF have gone, I got to agree with them. This JXT invasion has been a real shot of adrenaline to this company.
Oh, you think so? Yeah, you think so? You think that's all you need, just one single shot of adrenaline. You don't need to think about long-term booking. You don't need to think about what's going to be happening a year from now. That's if they win, Silv. That's what's going to happen, and that's what Tibbs is trying to prevent. God damn.
That is right, and that is why you have recruited a dominant force for Team JWF in the form of the Nightmare Ghazi, the man known as Big Cyrus Crane, and then, of course, where's his music? This man walking out to the ring, the demonic one, Craak. And Tibbs, let me tell you something, Craak is no small potato. I don't understand how you could turn a demon's mind to your side.
Well, Sills, whatever he did, it seems to have Craak in a very advantageous place for someone such as me.
That is right, and you can see the demonic one walking towards the ring, looking for some fresh meat to devour ahead of his match at crossing the line. But whoa, wait, what the hell? Tibbs, that's Robert Hill, the former JWF champion Robert Hill. He was cleared for competition last week, and it looks like he has returned, and he has found some competition, and he is beating the hell out of him.
And Sills, I'll tell you, that does not look like a man who is confined to a hospital bed for 2 weeks. He looks like he is just about to come out here and wreck shop.
Well, you have to imagine after what your son Chuck has been saying about him lately on JWF television, the doctors claim that he had, I believe, what was called a rage-induced hyper-recovery, which I didn't know was even a damn medical term, but he is absolutely pummeling the man who I would have called the wild card of Team JWF, but right now he's looking like the dead weight. Oh my God, sending him skull first into those ring steps, and Robert is now just ripping apart the ringside area. Tibbs, this is a wild animal. This is no longer a man.
Absolutely, Sills. He is just ready. He is going to kill my son, isn't he?
I don't know, but it looks like he's focusing on the demonic one right now, just dragging him into the ring before, oh my God, tossing those steel steps into the ring, and it looks like the coroner caught Craak straight in the ribs. Tibbs, the king of the hill, is back, and he is absolutely assaulting Craak as he picks him up, and oh no, Tibbs, he's got him set up. The gaslighter, that vicious double underhook DDT straight down onto those steel steps. Tibbs, Robert Hill might have just taken the wild card of your team out of the deck entirely.
You know, Sills, when I heard that Robert Hill had made a full recovery, I was happy. I was going to be glad to have him back and doing what he does best. I just did not expect him to do that to one of the people that my team is riding on.
All right, well, it looks like the King of the Hill does not give a damn about your team. He just gives a damn about that anger flowing through his veins. So why don't we hear what the King of the Hill has to say?
All right, give me a damn mic, all right. Robert Hill's got something to say. You know something? I've been laid up in a hospital bed for 3 weeks, forced to listen to a certain little puke in this company come out here and whine about how he never got his opportunity to beat me in the ring. Well, buddy, let me tell you right now, there's only two men who ever were able to whoop Robert Hill, and one's holding the JWF championship, and the other's in heaven with our Lord and Savior. So what opportunity you think you got, Chuck? Hey? Doesn't really matter what one way or another, what you do to me. So why don't we get this done right here, right now, so I can go on to get my championship back? Chuck Tibbs, get your ass out here right now.
Well, Tibbs, I gotta say, if I was your son right now, I would say not to get my ass out there right now, because that is a pissed off grizzly bear staring down that entrance ramp.
Yeah, I would probably already be buying plane tickets out of here.
All right, I see how it is. What's that word you described me as a few weeks ago, huh, Chuck? Was it chicken? Well, I certainly hope you're not too chicken to show up for your match, because I already done gone and got it cleared with Captain Tibbs. And after assaulting referees and running around like a big mouth, even your daddy thinks you need a spanking, boy. And this Sunday at Crossing the Line, I'm gonna beat my record and beat your ass in less than 10 goddamn seconds.
Well, Tibbs, I would definitely get a plane ticket if I was Chuck, but looks like Chuck Tibbs not getting a plane ticket, instead grabbing a steel chair and just cracking Robert Hill over the skull with it. But, Tibbs, Robert Hill didn't move or fall or anything. It was like he hit a brick wall.
So he is he is slowly turning around, huh?
Yeah, he is glaring down Chuck Tibbs. But hey, look at that smile. I think Robert might be happy that his opponent has come out to face him.
So I take that as challenge accepted. Get out of here!
Robert grabbing Chuck and dropping him with a gaslighter onto those steel steps before just getting out of the ring and getting ready for a match at Crossing the Line. And Tibbs, let me tell you something. If I was Chuck Tibbs, I think the last thing I should have done was go out there.
Yeah, Sills, I think that you're just 100% correct on that one. I keep saying this, Sills, but that's probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen my son do. He just keeps topping himself.
That is right, but that was some hard-hitting action right there from Robert Hill. Speaking of, there's going to be some even more hard-hitting action before Crossing the Line at JXT's official pay-per-view known as the Snappening, one of the most violent, brutal pay-per-views of the year. I mean, these guys rip each other limb from limb, and one of the biggest matches to watch out for is the Golden Bonanza, where 8 of JXT's former champions are going to go in the ring and battle it out for the opportunity to call themselves the JWF Captain's Champion, of course, announced by Scottye Moore and yourself a couple weeks ago. And Tibbs, you know there have been contenders after contenders coming out of the woodwork trying to get into these Bonanza matches.
Oh, of course, Sills. This is the bread and butter that everybody wants, and you only get it once a year. Shot to just go ahead and elevate yourself to championship status. Who wouldn't want that?
That is right. And one man who certainly wants that is a former JXT champion, former JXT BS champion, the man known as Crush Atlas. And Tibbs, let me tell you something. We talk about Mark Plays being one of the most dominant forces in JXT. I mean, hell, you signed him to a contract last week while he's still holding the belt. But there is one man who's managed to wrestle that belt away from him, and it is, in fact, Crush Atlas.
Very true, Sills. Crush Atlas and Mark Play, they've gone at it time and time again, and somebody that you would never want to discount, somebody that you would never want to underestimate is Crush Atlas. He is a phenomenal in-ring combatant and somebody who really can, if he wanted to, take it straight to someone like Mark Plays.
That is right, and Crush Atlas is backstage right now with one of our top interviewers to discuss his big weekend of upcoming matches. So why don't we have a listen?
Hello everybody, Honeypot Mick Bathwater Baby here, with a man who's got quite a weekend of challenges ahead of him, Crush Atlas. Now Crush, Not only are you going to participate in one of the most star-studded multi-man matches at the Snappening, but you are also going to be participating in the JWF versus JXT Cananza match at Crossing the Line the very next night. How do you plan on surviving this gauntlet of madness?
The gauntlet of madness is what you call it, yes? I call it a normal weekend for Crush Atlas. Because you see, Honeypot, you have also forgotten a very important match that will be happening at Crossing the Line. The match where I win the JWF Captain's Championship. I will survive every other man in the Golden Cananza, take their bodies, rip them to shreds, and I will move on to face whatever fool dare stands in the ring across from me, and equally rips him to shreds as well. And I will then use those shreds to decorate my throne when I sit atop this mountain they call JWF as your Captain's Champion. And as far as the war between JWF and JXT is concerned, I know where my allegiances lie. I know what company put someone like me as their champion, and I know what company would have refused to. It's rare, to see the final days of a bright star glowing brighter and brighter before it finally snuffs itself out. But for those of you at home, I suggest you tune in this Sunday, because Crush Atlas will personally snuff out the light of the JWF and ensure JXT reigns supreme. And as far as any survivors go, I have one suggestion for them. Get to the chopper! Well, quite an intimidating force there, Tibbs. If you had to ask me the type of man who could defeat Mark Blaze, that is certainly the voice of one who could.
Yeah, Sills, I couldn't help but think that he was trying to get at something with all that flame snuffing out stuff, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that.
I'm not sure either, Tibbs, but let me tell you something. One thing I definitely wasn't happy about is what happened a couple of weeks ago. Of course, our JWF champion, the Dylan, was confronted in ring by the leaders of JXT, Blake Tanner and Scottye Moore, but also Mark Plays, the JXT champion, and shocking the world, Mark Plays turned on his mentors, turned on JXT, assaulted Blake and Scottye. Hell, he sent Scottye to the damn hospital. The actions of Mark Plays these past few weeks, in my opinion, have been absolutely ludicrous.
Of course, Sills, and that is why I signed that man to a fat, lucrative contract straight out the gate, because I knew I needed somebody like that to protect the JWF, to do whatever it means to make sure that this company continues on unobstructed.
That is right, Tibbs. I mean, last week he even signed his contract on top of the JXT Championship, the ultimate disrespect to the company that he once called home. But one man who I know took even less kindly to that was Scottye Moore, the man who got sent to the hospital. And to be honest with you, Tibbs, I didn't think I'd know when he was going to be back here in this ring, but last week, doctors announced not only was Robert Hill cleared for competition, but so is Scottye Moore. And that is why the proverbial hero of the JWF, JXT, whatever you want to call him, is back in a JWF arena this week. And Tibbs, you gotta be happy to see it.
No, I don't. I don't, Sills. I'm not happy to see this. I don't know where you get off putting words in my mouth like this. If you ask me, Scottye Moore should have taken the time off that he needed to get his head straight.
Well, if there's one thing that Scottye Moore has never done, it's taken time to get his head straight. But he is in our ring right now, so why don't we hear what the leader of JXT has to say? 2 weeks ago, Mark Plays grabbed me by my neck, tossed me in the air, and threw me through an announce table, and an errant monitor happened to find its way into my ribs, hence the taped torso and constant wincing. But when he did that, it reminded me of something. It reminded me of when I got my first tattoo. And look, I'm not going to play tough guy bullshit, the bitch hurt. And I was genuinely close to tapping out, saying, it's fine, just leave that one little line there. But then my dad a former tag team champion, show some respect. He turned to me and he started talking to me about Ring of Honor coming to Atlanta, about us possibly going to our first indie wrestling show, and the pain didn't really disappear, but it changed. It's like when the love of my life left me alone in a parking lot, and I spent that evening in a crowd of 75,000 of my best friends cheering our heads off. The pain, once again, it didn't disappear, it just changed. It's like the fire that burned in my lungs when I quit smoking, and how I used the fire in those lungs to give CM Punk one big fucking welcome back to pro wrestling, because the pain never disappears, it just changes. And the point is this: if you think I'm worried about some taped up ribs this weekend, you can go fuck yourself. I didn't get into this business to ignore the pain. I got into professional wrestling because it made the pain feel good. You see, 4 weeks ago, I came out to this ring as the ever-present sports entertainer that I was, and I told you that I was tired. I told you that I couldn't do this anymore, that the JWF didn't need Scottye Moore anymore. Well, unfortunately for Mark Plays, and especially unfortunate for that stupid fuck in the captain's hat, I've realized something. I've realized that I don't give a damn what the JWF needs. I give a damn what you people need. I give a damn what I need, and what I need right now is a fight. Which is why this weekend...
Hold on, whoa, Scotty. This fucking the captain's hat had to get up and just calm you down a little bit. Listen, I get it. You're excited. You got knocked a little loopy a few weeks back, but hey, listen to me, kiddo. This is veteran knowledge talking right here. You're running yourself ragged, kid. Why don't you take the night off? Hey, come on. Hey, listen. The card's full. Whatever you want to do, we couldn't even squeeze you in on the show if we wanted to. So there's no use in jaw-jacking.
Well, actually, I thought about that, Tibbs, and I realized that I could kill a whole lot of birds with just one very simple stone, because there may not be room for Scottye Moore on Crossing the Line, but there is on the Snappening.
Well, no, absolutely not. I will not allow that. That is ridiculous. You cannot do that. JXT and JWF, it's two separate divisions.
You know what? You are right, Tibbs. You are right. It is, in fact, two separate brands as of right now. And it would be completely and totally irresponsible of me as a coach to lay a hand on any single JXT superstar. Which is why my opponent will not be a JXT superstar. My opponent will actually be a recently signed JWF superstar who really has a bright career ahead of him, I think.
No, don't you dare.
Oh,
Scotty, don't even think about it, don't you?
How did you fuck up that bad? But actually, hold on, let me just send a text off to Blake to make it official, and boom, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This Saturday at the Snappening, in the main event, Mark Plays faces Scottye Moore for the JXT Championship. And if I beat him, that means I'll be the one fighting your precious little JWF champion at Crossing the Line. And believe me, I know Dylan has beaten down damn near every single man in that locker room, but there's one guy he hasn't beaten in the Ignition era, and you're looking at him. But you know something? I am not stupid. I know the caliber of performers I'm potentially facing this weekend. I know how good Mark Plays is, and I definitely know how good Dylan is, and I know that it's been damn near impossible for anyone to keep either of their shoulders to the mat. But Tibbs, a couple of weeks ago, I came out here with nothing left to fight for. I came out here wanting to literally leave this business because I didn't have anything left to accomplish, and to be honest with you, Tibbs, I might have done it if you hadn't made one very, very big mistake. You tried to fuck with my people. You tried to fuck with my students, with my own little group of Wrestle Babies, and I want to thank you for that because it made me realize that I don't have to come out here to fight for myself anymore. But I do need to fight for them. Because a lot of them think that what I've done isn't possible, that my career can never be theirs, but I'm here to show them that all they need to do is one thing: fight. And I'm gonna fight like hell this weekend for guys like the JWF, guys like Chuck Gibbons, guys that have always deserved more and you always gave them less. And Tibbs, I want you to look me in the eyes because I want to see what happens when you realize that the Scottye Moore coming to Crossing the Line is not the same Scottye that's been on TV for the past few months. It's not the guy who's willing to take the second spot on the card, not the guy who wakes up at 5 a.m. to smile and wave on your dumb fucking radio shows. It's not the guy that didn't care. No, the Scottye Moore coming to Crossing the Line is the man that defeated the devil himself to win the JWF Championship. It's the man that looked Momoa Curry in the eyes and earned his respect. It's the man who sent your old ass through a flaming table just to get what I deserve. And there it is. That look in your eye that says you know without a shadow of a doubt you are 110% fucked this weekend. Because you know it doesn't matter how many times Mark plants me into that mat, and you know it doesn't matter how long Dylan tries to choke me out with the Anaconda device, because you know that I'm going to fight like hell. And whether you want to admit it or not, you know I'm gonna win. Well, ladies and gentlemen, strong words from Scottye Moore after issuing what has got to be an absolutely hell of a match coming to you at the Snappening. Scottye Moore is crossing the line officially into JXT and challenging for the JXT World Heavyweight Championship. This is amazing.
Sills, do yourself a favor. Just shut your fucking ass right now.
All right, well, luckily I commentate with my mouth, Tibbs, as we now move on to, unfortunately, a little bit of more news regarding this matchup. And we have our JWF champion right now on hand to discuss this, because you got to imagine, for the past few weeks, the Dylan has been preparing to face Mark Plays at Crossing the Line. He's been preparing for that moveset, and he may have challenged Scottye Moore numerous times in the past, but I don't know if he may be prepared for this Scottye Moore this weekend.
It's Dylan, Sills. It's Dylan. And I hope he does what Dylan does best.
Well, why don't we go backstage and hear what the JWF World Heavyweight Champion has to say? Ladies and gentlemen, Dad McDonald backstage here with a man who has had to have gotten quite the shock just now, the JWF World Heavyweight Champion, the Dylan. Now, Dylan, as we just saw, Scottye Moore has laid down the gauntlet and will be challenging for the JXT Championship at the Snappening event, and if he walks away victorious, that would place him directly in your sights at Crossing the Line. How do you react to this?
You know, the Snappening just goes to show what I've thought all along, which is that you can never really predict where Scottye is gonna go with something. There's that old saying about a man playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. But you see, Scottye's strength is that he lets you think that you're playing chess with him, but when really he hasn't been across from you at all. He's behind you with a chair, getting ready to knock you out. See, the man always goes one way when you think he's heading another, and this is a perfect example. Now, I have my history with Scottye Moore. See, we've been partners, we've been enemies, he's been a friend, a foe, but the one thing he's always been is the victor. See, I haven't been able to put Scottye down despite my best efforts. And granted, Not every time was it my fault, but the facts are facts. And that leaves me with hesitation. It's truly a wrench in the plan. See, I was looking forward to fighting a new foe. Getting to have Mark plays in the ring and seeing what I could learn about myself by facing a man like that. But it turns out that what I'll really have to learn, potentially, is can the Dylan beat Scottye Moore?
Well, Tibbs, I know you said it's Dylan, but there's one thing I've never heard Dylan be in the past, and it's hesitant, but he certainly seems hesitant to face Scottye Moore this weekend, especially this laser-focused Scottye, who is going to be coming here with fire in his heart. Well, Tibbs, I can tell you're quite upset, so why don't we now move to the main event of the evening, a official face-off of Team JWF and Team JXT ahead of their 3-on-3 match this Sunday at the Snapping. But I'm being told right now, Tibbs, unfortunately, Craak has been taken to a local medical facility, which would appear to mean that you're down one. How does Team JWF have a response for this?
Oh, Sills, I have a response beyond all responding that I hope that I did not have to use. But you'll see. You'll see!
Well, why don't we go down to the ring right now and hear from the leader of Team JXT, Blake Tanner.
Oh, Tibbs, how the turntables. You know, a week ago, I was standing in this ring alone. No one by my side, and the numbers stacked so heavily against me it felt like the sea was about to swallow me whole and drown me. And, well, now, as JXT's momentum keeps building and building as our numbers grow, well, that only means that your numbers have been dwindling, Tibbs, and I really hope that I'm the one who gets to nail the final nail into your coffin tonight. I mean, hell, even your own son doesn't want to team up with you. And the ace up your sleeve, Craak, the demon, has been taken out of action, and your dominating, intimidating force has been reduced to only 3. How does that feel?
I'm sorry, right? What? I was not really paying attention, and I completely forgot about this. All of this, actually. You know, I was so enraptured, enraged at what Scottye did earlier, Blake, that I completely forgot the fact that you and your little team even existed. How does it feel? How does it feel being forgotten in Scottye's shadow again, huh, son? You think that you and your little island of misfit toys will have the strength to stand on your own 2 feet and say, enough is enough, Tibbs! This is it! It's over! We're forming the revolution! You're storming the Bastille, huh? Well, kid, let me remind you exactly who the hell you are currently standing across the ring from. And I'm not talking about the fucking Whitney family. I mean me, Captain Goddamn Tibbs. The man who built this company from the ground up with his bare fucking hands. You see, this whole time, you've been worried about what Tibbs is doing, what Tibbs is bringing to the table, when, to be honest, you should have been worried about the men standing behind you. The ones that you've brought up to face against the unassailable might of the JWF. Because believe me, I know you've been acting like Captain Tibbs' finger is off the pulse of professional wrestling, that I'm not in touch anymore, but god damn it, if there's one thing I do, it's pay attention. And I've seen the type of men that you've got standing next to you. The Jebedick, JXT's only Triple Crown champion. Truly, truly a worthy accomplishment. A man who's literally done it all in his own little corner of the world. And a man who has done nothing but fail you, Blake. He has failed you every single time. You remember when you wanted him as your first champion? He failed you. Wanted him to overcome the odds, finally become a dominant champ, and he failed. You wanted him to save the world, and he failed without your direct intervention. Same could be said for your little dragon buddy here. I mean, after all, wasn't he part of a amazingly unstoppable tag team until you fucked that up? And then didn't you build him up all this summer just to be the guy that will take Mark Play's win streak and snap it like a twig? And you see what he did for you. You see how he let you down. Blake, you and Scotty, you think you want JXT on the main roster. You think you want these men to test their might every single night in the ring. But the truth is, you can't protect them like I can. You can't do for them what I can do for you in the JWF. You can't make them legends like I could. I mean, hell, Blake, you wouldn't have been JWF champion for nearly a year and a half if Momoa goddamn Curry would have finally answered my phone calls, you piece of...
Oh! Blake Tanner decking Captain Tibbs with a right hand after Tibbs with a big insinuation that Blake Tanner's title reign was only because of him, but it looks like we have got a war breaking out early between JXT and Team JWF, but it looks like Team JXT is luckily getting that numbers advantage, chasing off the Whitney family who are running up the ramp, and looks like my broadcast partner is alone in the ring as Blake Tanner picks up Captain Tibbs looking for the beefsteak, but what the hell? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, that was, I'm not sure what happened. Fire just flew from the ring post, and it looks like Team JXT are now in the center of the ring trying to protect one another. Debris is raining from the ceiling. What the hell is going on?
There we go. I feel like myself again, maybe a little bit less than 110% fucked Tibbs tonight. You know something, Blake? I think the stupidest mistake you've made about me is a couple of weeks ago when I said that I made a deal with the devil. And you thought I was talking about Lawrence Whitney, you idiot!
What the hell is Captain Tibbs talking about it? Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, that is walking out on the stage. That is Randall Crowley. That is the former man known as Randy the Ram Robinson, a former JXT champion who was sent to hell itself, but it looks like that monster has crawled through the fire and brimstone, and he has aligned himself with Team JWF. What the hell?
Oh, I had to call in a few favors, Sills. No big deal.
That's beyond a favor, Tibbs. That is reaching down into the gullet of madness and ripping out one of its most cursed forms. And just win this little war? This is bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit, Sills. This is what Scotty and Blake asked for. This is what they wrought upon themselves. This is what they get when they think that they know more about professional wrestling than old Captain Tibbs. And this is what you get when he has to put you back in your damn place.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday, Crossing the Line, coming to you live. We got Team JWF versus Team JXT. Scottye Moore or Mark Plays facing off against the Dillon. We've got an epic match for the captain's title. Cananzas, Chuck Tibbs versus Robert Hill. Tibbs This is going to be an absolutely can't miss pay-per-view because at the end of the day, this is the beginning and the end of something big in the world of JWF wrestling at Crossing the Line.
And so, I want you and everybody at home to know that Old Tibbs is gonna give you the most spectacular ending you've ever seen.
All right, well, that's coming to you live this Sunday. Until then, remember to support us at patreon.com/a-load of BS and pick up merchandise at merch.loadofpurebs.com. But until next time, he's been Captain Tibbs. I've been Silver Spoon. This has been JWF Ignition, and we will see you next time.